Happy Tuesday. Today is going to be a DIY video, and I'm going to be showing you how I kind of rectified, changed, and transformed these two denim jackets that I have. DIYs featuring denim are near and dear to my heart because it's one of the first, I think, one of the first like clothing DIYs that I put here on my channel. And if I'm being honest, whenever I work with denim, it's just a smooth, straight shot. Every other project that I have, there's usually some type of mishap, but denim is really easy to work with, and I'm always looking for new ways to just, I guess, make it new. So I'm first going to be starting off with the tie-dye white jacket, which I'm really excited to show you guys because tie-dye is super trendy right now. And then I'm going to move on to another one which was inspired by the DIY designer here on YouTube, which is going to be a black denim jacket with lace, or like a tulle kind of overlay. So let's just jump right in. Okay guys, so all of the items needed for this particular DIY are down below, and I'm just going to start off by cutting this jacket. I wanted it to be cropped. It was $11 from Sears, so I'm not really too sad about cutting a brand new jacket, but I just knew that I wanted it to be shorter. I didn't want it to fit kind of boxy, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it as the first step in this project. So linked in the description box, guys, I do have a link to Rit Dye's instructions on how to do tie-dye, and they do give specific measurements for that. Because I had different squirt bottles, I kind of had to amend those measurements to fit these specific size bottles. And now I'm going to kind of just show you a test that I wanted to do before applying this to my denim jacket to see what the colors were going to look like. So at first, I really thought that this green was kind of too deep. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like once I rinse it out. Like I had a lot of questions here. I was like, okay, so the green is too dark. The pink is actually red. And I think that the purple color was probably the most accurate, but I will say that these colors are going to change when they dry. So you do want to kind of test this out beforehand if you don't want to be disappointed afterwards. So back to the denim jacket, you want to make sure that it's wet before you apply the dye. This kind of helps with the color, the finish, and the bleeding. And I'm going to be doing a spiral, it's my first time here, guys, attempting to do a spiral kind of design for the tie-dye. So I'm going to grab it in the center and just begin to twist this around, gathering the rest of the fabric to kind of create a circular shape. Definitely take your time here because you don't want it to fold in an odd way, but I don't really think it's the biggest problem if it does. I just knew that I was going for a specific look. So I decided to put 3 rubber bands on this so that I could have 6 quadrants to work with. You could do 4, you could do 2, you could do 8, but I wanted to have 6 different sections where I could do these colors, so I used 3 rubber bands. Now we're ready to move on to the tie-dyeing stage. Guys, so I'm using the cookie rack just because as I'm dyeing the fabric, I don't want the colors to bleed through on the bottom and kind of mesh together per se. So it's really just to kind of help me with this design. Again, this is my kind of first time doing tie-dye, so I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything that I would need to do to make sure that it came out right. So I'm starting with the color green, and I'm going to just saturate, I guess, very, very heavy in this section. I thought that this color was going to be too light, or too dark rather, so I did make it lighter. And as I was applying it, I'm like, okay, hopefully it's not too late now, but I am going to go back over each section twice just to use up as much of the squirt bottle as possible because I did have left over. You can do whatever color coordination design pattern that you like, but I will say be mindful of what colors make gray and brown. I knew that a pink, this actually all 3 of them together can possibly make either gray or brown, and I was willing to take that risk, but the rubber bands help section off those colors to keep them a little separated so they don't bleed on each other. But if you want to avoid it, it's best to do your homework and probably just look at what colors are going to make gray and brown and avoid using those colors. So after I after I added the tie-dye, the Rit Dye website recommended that I wrap the tie-dye in plastic wrap and put it in the microwave. Now I've heard of wrapping it before. The microwave was something that I was a little skeptical about, but it worked out very well, and it did speed up the setting time. Pretty much after I did this, I technically didn't need to really wait too long to rinse it out, but I wanted to wait, so I am going to let this sit for about 6 hours. And then I will go ahead and rinse it out with cool water and get to show you guys the results. Oh, and when you're putting it in the microwave, you can put it in for about a minute. Again, like I said, I do have the Rit Dye link in my description box if you want specific instructions that you can look at and follow. They give you a bunch of different ideas on things that you can tie-dye, and I found it really super helpful. This is not a sponsored video by Rit Dye, but I really do appreciate them helping beginners like me do these projects by myself at home. So to start the rinsing process, I am going to start with cold water, and I quickly found that there wasn't much that bled out, which is an odd change from my other Rit dyeing experience. When I've dyed clothing before, there's so much that is bleeding out into the water, but there was nothing under the cold water, which I am learning, I guess, is normal, because I then switched to warm water. It bled like a tiny bit, and then once I got to hot water, there was probably not much left. So then I went ahead after I did those 3 steps and threw it into my wash machine on a very gentle cycle, and it was warm water with detergent, and here are the beautiful results. I love, 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 love how it came out. I was really nervous about this because I've never done tie-dye before, but I've learned some lessons along the way, and I think that I'm officially like into the tie-dye hype. So now let's move on to the next denim DIY, which is going to be the black embroidered tulle denim jacket. So this is the beautiful embroidered tulle fabric that I'll be working with, and I got this from Joann's craft store. I have about a yard here, and that is more than enough to complete this project. So that will give you a gauge on what you will need. So to start off, we are going to be working on the back panel of the jacket, and all I am going to be doing is cutting out the center space there. Now, I really wanted to do a design. I was like 2 seconds away from doing a cross. And while that may work, I'm sure it will for denim. Depending on kind of the denim that you have, I will say be careful. I knew that my denim was a little bit thinner. It wasn't as like sturdy and thick as other denim jackets are, and I didn't want it to kind of collapse in the middle without structure. So I'm going to keep these 2 seams on the side to kind of give that structure. And I knew that if I did a cross or a heart-shaped, I would have to cut that out, and that could potentially affect the shape of the back of the jacket. Now, I made a little bit of a mistake, kind of a headache here, guys. You want to make sure that you're working on this jacket inside out. It makes such a difference when you are gluing on the fabric and you need to move to the next section. With it being inside out, you don't run into as many problems with trying to make the jacket flat and trying to make it work. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the tool, and you're going to see me do this the wrong way, but I'm telling you to turn the jacket inside out before you start to glue, and it'll be a lot better. Anyways, we're just going to measure this to the outline. I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch all around so that we can glue it, and we'll be moving on. So you're just going to want to repeat that in your desired section. I knew I wanted to cut the front panel here, and I also had to remove the pocket, so I cut it. I used that piece as a pattern, and I went ahead and glued on the inside with the, now when you look at the embroidery, you'll see which side, because there will be no stitch on the side that's supposed to be seen. So I did this literally all around, guys. It's such an easy DIY, but I will tell you, again, flip the jacket inside out. Now guys, the blue tape is just to hold it in place because, again, I was having a hard time trying to finish the next section while dealing with that. But this is pretty much it, guys. It's, like I said, it's such a simple DIY. I love the way that it came out. I think it's so chic, elegant, but yet funky. And I really do hope that you guys enjoyed these 2 DIYs with denim to show you how easy it is to work with it and to upcycle any of the clothing that you have laying around. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time in my next video. Bye.